is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
This meeting is being recorded.
If you all could hear this, I might even let it on there to hear it. We got this new Zoom. JJ Wang got a new computer. That's why he is looks like he's spotlighted. But every time I start recording, it says this meeting is being recorded. So if anybody's a computer expert, check it out. We start laughing. I cut it out last, it records on it, so it's hilarious to hear.
Well, I mean, it's actually good for us because we have forgotten multiple times to record, and this lady just helps us remember. Hey, make sure you got the record button.
It is gracious of you to use the word "we" and forgotten to record when you have never had to work. When it was, I forgot to push the record button, and I called you, and I'm like, "Hey, I didn't." You're like, "Ah."
I can't blame you I can't blame you. I mean, you're the reason that we do this. So, I mean, I'll take responsibility for it.
Sweet. So as long as I keep pushing record, every time it messes up, it's yours. I get the other 100 and some odd times, and you get. So anyway, enough about our inabilities to use to use Zoom. I'm just glad that I figured out. I think how our names aren't on the screen if you're looking at the screen. But it is February. We're towards the end. This is airing the last week of February. Can you believe it's almost freaking March? When did that happen?
It hasn't happened yet, but it's about to happen.
It's quick, and this is even the long month, March. But March is when things start to really get rolling. So we're gonna have free agency coming up. We're gonna have the combine, and the next thing we know, it's going to be the draft. And good God, it's coming quick. But speaking of the new NFL year, got three big hits, and I got a question for you. The biggest one is the new salary cap, $255.4 million. Anybody who says NFL isn't king is a fool.
Yeah, I don't think anybody said that. I mean, I think everybody realizes NFL is king, at least here in the United States. But yeah, they've been talking about this for a while. I mean, it's going to go up every year. I mean, these guys are just making so much money with the TV contracts and everything. I mean, they just print money, man. Just more money for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, pretty much. And with that thought though, it's funny to see that teams are still way over the cap. It's that bad, but we know it's monopoly money that they can restructure and change everything.
It's not real.
It's like Trump's taxes. We can do whatever we want and we'll figure it out until we get caught. Is the way
it doesn't really matter. We'll deal with it later.
But yeah, a lot of the big notes don't affect fantasy well unless you play defenses. So my Dolphins are cutting defenders left and right. But two big hits here are Geno Smith restructured his contract. Yay for everybody in Seattle.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's Geno. I mean, I guess he's their most consistent thing they have right now. I'm sure they'll try to find something. Maybe get one in the draft and maybe in the later rounds. It's gonna be a good sign that they're restructuring it. I mean, they're probably trying to figure out a way to get out of it as soon as they can. But I mean, look, he's what they got. They got to deal with it. He's not terrible. I mean, he's not what he was 2 years ago, but I mean,
maybe he'll be that every other year guy. I forget who that was that I noticed was an every other year good player.
Matt Ryan was like that.
Matt Ryan, yeah, that's who it was. Good call. And yeah, but on that note, I did see today that they were talking about if the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, it's $39 million in dead money. So I have a feeling Russell Wilson's going to be traded, or he's going to be a Bronco. I think Atlanta seems to be the best destination. It'd make both teams happy to a point. And he would have passed they're running.
I mean, with the salary cap going up, why not just take the dead money hit? Just pretend you're using last year's salary cap. Just keep your guys.
I would wait. What's the draft going to show? I don't know. Another note, we talked about him last week. T. Higgins got franchise tagged, and we were discussing whether he's top 12, top 10. With him being stuck there for one more year, we are talking dynasty, so we'll see what happens after this year, or if he does get a long-term deal. But as of right now in February, T. Higgins, is he top 15 now that you know he's behind Jamar Chase?
I think he's top 15. He's right around that 15 area. But I mean, if he stays healthy, I mean, he's going to be battling for that 12 to 15 spot. We know Jamar Chase is going to get a lot of balls, but they throw a lot. They're probably going to throw even more. If they all come back healthy. So yeah, I mean, he stands just as good chance as anybody else to finish in that top 15 range.
I mean, he is part of, basically, we'll have this discussion, I'm sure, 7 times. The 3 best duos of receivers. There's probably more that I'm missing, but Philly, Miami, and Cincinnati. Where does Cincinnati rank? of those three?
I'd probably put him third, I guess. I mean, I like Devonta Smith a lot, and AJ Brown, is the dude. Miami, I'm not a huge fan of Miami. You know what? I might take him over Miami because I think T. Higgins might be a little better than Jalen Waddle.
Oh man, I don't know if I could go with that one, but we'll see.
I mean, maybe not, but Jalen Waddle
Kind
didn't.
of goes flipped fanboy. Like I think Tyreek is so good, he's up there, and Jalen Waddle, if he when he balls,
Yeah, I understand, but Tyreek's 30, Jamar Chase is like 24.
yeah. AJ Brown just like I almost have them in the middle in mind.
So I mean, would you? I mean, it just comes down to would you rather have Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill? That's what it comes down to.
This year, Tyreek Hill. 2 years, obviously Jamar Chase.
I mean, maybe. I mean, if Jamar Chase is healthy all 17 games, he's gonna be battling for 1,700 yards.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, I did a trade this week. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I just want to see what you think of the trade. For context, it's a super flex league. I have C.J. Stroud and I have Patrick Mahomes. So I traded away Trevor Lawrence and Josh Downs. In return, I got Puka Nacua, Kirk Cousins, and a 2025 second, like mid to late. How does that pan out? My receivers are JSN.
I mean, I guess it determines if Kirk Cousins is going to be healthy and can back up your quarterbacks if one of them goes down. You didn't need the three caliber quarterbacks that high, so obviously you can trade one and tear down for that third. I mean, that was a smart move. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you trust Puka Nacua that much, and you think he is the guy, I mean, it sounds okay.
It was
but like I said, you just got to hope Kirk Cousins is able to come back and play.
I know that's the fear within is I'm banking on Cousins just to be that third guy for those 2 weeks. But the interesting thing in looking at it there is Puka's. It's whether you feel about Puka because we ran him through a dozen calculators like. Dynasty Trade Calculator has Trevor Lawrence worth way tons. Every other calculator has this pretty much square. It's just interesting. So don't bank everything on calculators unless you look at like 3 of them, then sort of average them out. But it was interesting to see that as we look through them.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I still think Trevor Lawrence would be valued pretty high. I mean, he's definitely valued more than Puka Nacua. I would think, or quite a bit more. I would think he would have to be quite a bit more. But
Honestly,
I guess
it's not.
But I guess.
12, 13 quarterback. Puka for Dynasty, right now, he's setting 6, 7. Which
yeah, I totally agree. But, I mean, he's also a rookie. I mean, he's only had one. I mean, great year. I mean, I would love to have him on my team. But, I mean, at least Trevor Lawrence, when he's been playing, I mean, he's still battling for a top 12 quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, I love you.
Would you – I mean, I would still rather have a top 12 quarterback than a top 10 wide receiver that are probably going to be playing for the same amount of years.
More or less.
So,
yeah. And luckily my guys behind him were so that was the
like I said, it's all going to be whether or not Kirk Cousins is worth anything.
Yeah. I think I will have to look in the offseason if I can find a Puka jersey. I think with the shares of Puka I have, I think I need to get a Puka jersey to wear on the podcast because he could be my new favorite player. So anyway, JJ Wang, this is your show. I'm stealing your thunder here with my trade. This is the JJ Wang NFC questions. Ooh, that's a title. I just got a title. I didn't have a title.
Wow,
JJ Wang.
How hard was that?
Questions.
Oh,
Booyah.
man,
There's your
so
drop.
creative, dude. I mean, you should do this for a living.
But
no, yeah. Last week we did the AFC. I thought it was pretty successful. We enjoyed a little more conversation style. So this week we'll do the NFC. We'll start off with the NFC East. We'll go with my favorite team in the world, the Dallas Cowboys. The biggest question here with the Cowboys, obviously, is running back. They got Tony Pollard to the franchise tag. I can't imagine them bringing him back. They'll probably let him go. So they're in the market for a running back, and it's the Cowboys. So I can't imagine them bringing in a no-name running back to give them a shot. So I'm going to give you the same question that we gave to the Baltimore Ravens last week. If you had Saquon, Josh Jacobs, or Derrick Henry, who do you want with the Cowboys?
My answer is always Derrick Henry in that bunch. Like I love Saquon, but I don't know. I used to hate Derrick Henry, like loathe, and I guess then I got him. I don't know, but he just became the man. And for what the Cowboys need, the Cowboys are a passing team, right? They want a good scat back, and I think the teeny tiny dude, I just lost his name, Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn,
Oh, yeah.
he could take a scat back roll, give him 8 touches a game or something like that, nothing down the middle, and then just let Derrick Henry score touchdowns. What I think his latter part of his career is going to be 400 yards and 12 touchdowns, and then just give the ball to the receivers and let Dak do his thing, throw it to the other team, throw it to his team, and watch Ferguson get some touchdowns. Like I think it'd be a stellar fit because he's in that part of his career.
I mean, I think it'd be a fit, of course. I mean, it's Derrick Henry, but I also think these pass catching running backs would be a fit as well because we've seen Zeke Elliott just absolutely flourish in this offense when he was able to catch passes. And what does Saquon Barkley do pretty well? He catches passes, and Saquon Barkley is a really good running back, when he's healthy, of course. Josh Jacobs, the same way. Josh Jacobs can catch the ball, and he's proven that he could be a top 12, top 5 caliber quarterback. And in this offense where we've seen them running backs be able to produce, I mean, I think I might lean Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs instead of Derrick Henry because they are younger and they can catch passes.
My brain didn't connect Josh Henry on the first question, so it might be Josh Jacobs, then Derrick Henry. I don't know, something about Saquon. I'm not feeling good about it. I don't know what it is. Like Saquon I hope he's good because I got him in one of our Entrust the Process league. But I like Josh Jacobs. That's a good call on that fit. That'd be a great fit for them because I do think Derrick Henry, if he goes anywhere, Baltimore doesn't that seem like the best? Like doesn't that seem like a match made in heaven?
I think Baltimore fits with Derrick Henry, and I think Josh Jacobs fits with the Cowboys. Yeah, I think that's how it would go. But they're going to spend big money. So let's move over to the NFC South. We're going to go with your favorite player from last year. We're going to go Baker Mayfield here. Baker Mayfield had a surprise year. The previous 4 years, not good. Obviously that's why he ended up in Tampa Bay on not making very much money. So he's about to get paid. Baker's ranked right around, top 20 quarterback, as he should be. I mean, he's better than the guys are behind him, and he's proved it for a year. So my question to you, being that we mentioned Geno Smith earlier in the episode, who would you? I don't want to say Baker. I don't want Baker as my 1 or 2 quarterback in a super flex. I prefer Baker as a third quarterback. So who would you prefer more as that third guy? Would you rather have Baker or Geno Smith? This probably sounds like Baker.
It's I'm a Baker guy. Like I would argue with you, Baker. I wouldn't mind Baker as a 2.
So what if Mike Evans ends up not being there?
Well, Mike Evans, everything I'm saying, I don't think he's gonna be there. Mike Evans not there means that I think my boy. Was I talking about Palmer on this offseason or during the middle of the season?
You can talk up Palmer all you want. He is nowhere near the level of Mike Evans.
No, Mike Evans.
He's not as big. He's not as fast. So I don't think Palmer, or I don't think that guy could even come remotely close to filling Mike Evans' shoes. Mike Evans fits in the passing offense.
Mike Evans is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer as far as I'm concerned after last season. I mean, after the whole, but last season really solidified it. Gave it like, hey, that's the stamp of approval. But Chris Godwin, think of him a couple years ago. He was going to the moon.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that means that Chris Godwin has to step up, and Palmer steps into that Godwin 2 role, and Cade Otton's played a decent. So I mean, there's more game manager. It means it's good things for Rachaad White as far as I'm concerned.
But it seems like maybe Baker Mayfield likes the Mike Evans type wide receiver, and Godwin isn't necessarily the Mike Evans type receiver. Just like Tom Brady, I feel, preferred the Chris Godwin type of receiver. So maybe Godwin can't necessarily fit into that Mike Evans role because Baker doesn't prefer. But I mean, being an NFL quarterback, you're going to throw it to your best receiver either way.
I mean, Michael Pittman is a free agent. Maybe they get.
I don't see Michael Pittman going anywhere. I can't imagine.
Poor man, Hollywood Brown,
yeah.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. So let's go. Moving over to the NFC North. We're going to go to the most hyped offense in the NFL, probably the Detroit Lions. We've got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's currently a top 5 running back. We've got Amon St. Brown, who's currently a top 5 wide receiver. And we got Sam Laporta, who's currently the number 1 tight end in football. So last season, all these guys were top 5 players when the fantasy season ended. I mean, are you confident that all these guys are going to be top five again?
Are you asking the number 1 Detroit Lions fan in the world?
So how about this? Would you be happy? I know a lot of players, you don't like to have so many players from the same team on your fantasy team. But would you be all right with having all three of these guys on your team?
I think that the two that I would be all right with a pass catcher and Gibbs. Because the pass catchers, you got to root for one to score touchdowns, right? Unless if it's tight end premium, heck yeah, this team's going to score. But Gibbs is going to get those PPR points out of the backfield. He's going to get some of those. He showed that he could be a downhill runner, and Montgomery's going to keep him healthy. Then you got Amon-Ra and Laporta. They're wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 every week. I would take all three because I'm a fanboy, but I would be nervous with 2 pass catchers. That's where the nerves usually are. Like you would be cool with Christian McCaffrey, Debo. You'd be cool with Jamar Gibbs and one of those guys, a receiver and a running back. But the 2, I mean, if I had to choose, I would take Laporta probably and bank high later on another receiver.
I don't mind the 2 receivers since they're both not wide receivers. If they were both wide receivers, I might have a little bit more issue, being that you can put Laporta in at tight end when you don't need he doesn't need to be great to be a top tight end. So you can put Laporta in there and still root for St. Brown, to get even if Amon-Ra does get all the touchdowns, Laporta's still going to be good enough to be that, top 5 tight end no matter what, because tight ends are terrible.
Yeah, I would take all 3. On a side note, I got to go find. Did you know the St. Brown brothers have a podcast?
I didn't see that.
I saw that. I was like, I might have to go check that out. That may be my after Puka or Amon-Ra. Who do I like better?
I think I would go with Amon-Ra. He's been
those
like
are my
the
flag planners. In a couple of years, it could be Puka, but Puka took a little more of a stretch for me to love. I was like,
Moving over to the NFC West, we're gonna go to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
I want to bring up James Conner here because this guy just always seems to amaze me to being a top 24, close to being a top 12 guy because he's a workhorse guy as long as he's in there. They're going to give him so right now he's obviously ranked pretty low as far as that. He's like 36 because he's older, but he still produces. Do you think going into next season that he is still in that workhorse role and you're going to still rely on him as your RB2, or is he more of that flex play?
Well, you're drafting him as the flex player. Let's be honest here. But what he is he is an RB1 for a 0 RB running back team. And you're gonna get him like that's he would be on my teams if I played my cards right, because I'm a believer in the 0 RB because RBs get hurt so quickly, and by the end of the year, running back 72 probably has as many points as running back 23 because they're all hurt. That's hyperbole there, but but he's your epitome of a lunch pail running back. You look at him and you say, hey. If I came to you right now and said I will trade you James Conner, everybody's first reaction is no. But if you went and said, hey, can I have James Conner? They'd be like, hey, 4th round pick. They're not going to ask for the ranch unless they're very, very smart. People listening to us right now are, so we know you guys are. But in general, he's a bargain basement guy who would be a stellar guy that will get you through because he'll probably miss weeks 7 through 10, but then he'll be ready for the playoffs. So absolutely. I love me some James Conner.
Yeah, he's grown on me. I'm not a huge fan. He's grown on me. I mean, like I'm surprised that he's been able to produce the way he has. So kudos to him. Yeah, I still rely on him going into the season. Let's stick with running backs at the NFC. Let's go back to the NFC East. We got 2 running backs here, 2 separate teams. From the Eagles, we got DeAndre Swift, and from the Commanders, we got Brian Robinson. Neither one of them are super sexy. We've seen what DeAndre Swift is in this offense. Started off strong. Finished terribly, not reliable at all. And Brian Robinson, pretty consistent throughout the year, put up some big games for you. Be very I don't want to say reliable, but I
pick one of these guys.
I think you were happy to have him on your team. Now with a new regime coming in, the offense obviously going to change. Swift is the higher drafted running back currently, or had position. He's like RB15 currently. Robinson is RB 27 area. Who would you prefer?
Are we assuming that Swift resigns?
Yeah, we assume that Swift stays there. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to figure if Swift's decline was the entire Eagles team just pooped the bed.
That is true.
So was it Swift? Was it the Eagles team? I still would rather have. It makes me puke want to say. I don't want either, but I take Swift just because
with the new. Yeah, with the new offense coming in, Brian Robinson is that big banger, he's going to get the goal line touches. Swift obviously is going to get the goal line touches. Yeah, but Swift obviously is going to get the goal line touches. So you're going to be relying heavily on pass catching. I think Bijan, of course. Yeah, I would definitely take Bijan over him.
Bijan, yeah.
But I think Brian Robinson, I think what he did last year, he's earned a spot even with the new regime coming on.
Oh, yeah.
He's as, spots. That RB for the team, because they need a lot more than running back, and they still have Antonio Gibson. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking Brian Robinson might be a top 20 running back with maybe a rookie quarterback coming in.
Brian Robinson or James Conner?
I think I might go Brian Robinson. I think he'll stay healthy, I think he'll stay healthy all year. I think he might be a little healthy.
I think James Conner.
But I think they're very close. I mean, I think they can be very close.
I think the Cardinals will be better this year. I don't think they can be that terrible as long as Kyler's healthy. They play good in the year.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals will be better. All right, let's move over to the NFC South. We'll stay with the Saints. Evidently, Jameis Winston won't be there anymore. He's going to find himself a new team. Sorry for him. But Alvin Kamara, this guy's been a top 12 RB just for like his whole career. I mean, it's been probably 8 or 9 years so far. It's been absolutely amazing. I mean, do you still see Kamara as a top 12 running back, or do you think that's faded?
I don't know. Am I allowed to say that? Like Kamara, he goes by both names, which is funny. I mean, I just pulled up an article from Saints Wire saying that the Clint Kubiak hire might help him and Jamal Williams. It depends upon how they use them. If they use them correctly, if they try to make him the bell cow back, absolutely not. If they use Jamal Williams for what he's supposed to be, that guy that scores the touchdown when you're not supposed to on the last play of the season to ruin it and get people mad. No, but Jamal, if they use them like they used Jamal Williams in Detroit and then let Kamara do what Kamara does and catch the ball and do something out of the back, he could easily get back up there. But last year just did not. I don't know. He had some games, but it just didn't look pretty. And I'm worried. I'm glad I don't have any dynasty Kamaras, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely at the tail end of his career, but I think he's probably a little safer than James Conner. I mean, I still value him as probably like a top 20.
He's got a higher ceiling, I think.
Yeah, he's maybe. But I still view him as at least a top 20 running back. I think he's safe. I'm not really too worried about Jamal Williams. I mean, Alvin Kamara is going to come in. He's going to get all the receptions. He's going to get a majority of the run, just like he has always in his past. And like I said, and all these guys, I don't want to say keep saying that they stay healthy, but if they're playing all 17 games, I think he's going to be really close to a top 12 running back.
I think if I look at him and Connor, Kamara has the highest ceiling and the lowest floor of those two, whereas Connor is like right there,
right in the middle.
Like, you know what you're going to get with Connor. With Kamara, like, I had some poop weeks last year, and then I had some great weeks. And I think that's what you're going to get. And Jamal Williams doesn't hurt him. I think Jamal Williams helps him, is what I would say. Like, I don't think him ceiling, but I think it helps keep him on the field.
All right. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. Of course, they're loaded with young talent. We're going to go at wide receiver. So we got Jaden Reed, who's at 20, wide receiver 27. Christian Watson, wide receiver 36. Romeo Doubs at 43, and Dontavius Wicks at 54. Looking at their dynasty positioning here, who would you rather have at their dynasty number?
Bo Melton. He looks good at the end of the year. He's your sneaky deep stash if you want one. In there. I like the rookies that came on a little more than the other guys. Romeo Doubs, who I was a fanboy of, he didn't make that step this year. He should have taken a step. He looked good in his rookie year and didn't take a step this year.
It's hard to take a step. It's hard to take a step when you got all these wide receivers.
But if you're good enough, you should. And Watson can't stay healthy, and then he disappears. But Jaden Reed looked like he could be. He's not going to be a wide receiver 1 in the league. He's going to be probably a 2, maybe a 3 with that upside because he can run like a poor man's. He looks like he could be a poor man's Debo to a point. And Dontavian Wicks he had some good flash games there. So, I mean, it'd be the later two because they're cheaper. I mean, Dobbs probably has to be lower. What was the number on Dobbs? Was he higher than those two?
43. He was 43.
Really? Wow. I would put. I would if I had to number them drafting. I'd say it'd be Watson, Reed, Wicks, Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, and Melton. And but I would take the latter, the rookies, and see where they go because somebody's got to rise. There's no way that this can. He's got to find some guy he really likes.
Yeah.
It could be
Now,
Jaden.
now, now, if I was the Watson owner, I'd, of course you're hoping for big games, but you're hoping for this guy to come out of the gates hot, get a couple good games, and then his value would absolutely skyrocket more than these other other three guys. So that's what I'm hoping for there. And maybe if he does pop off like that, maybe if you don't trust him, you could probably trade him for, you can find somebody that'd be gullible enough.
He's got more value. If you're trading, that's the guy you can trade. The other guys, Jaden Reed, Watson probably is just slightly ahead of Reed. Dobbs, you could get for a bag of peanuts, and you could sell for a quarter bag of peanuts. Dontavian Wicks, nobody knows who he is. He's probably on your waiver wire.
Yeah. All right. Last one. We're going to go to the Seahawks. We got Jackson Smith and Jigba, the rookie from last year. He's currently wide receiver 16. Came on a little bit at the end of the season, started to be involved a little more. And then we have DK Metcalf, who's still a top 20 wide receiver. He's okay. He just hasn't really taken that step after his second season. Well, one season that was really, really good. So which one of these guys is the number one receiver? I don't expect the other guy to come back. I think they're going to end up talking Lockett. I don't think they're going to end up. I think they'll end up cutting him. So I think it's just going to be Njigba and Metcalf. Which one of these guys finishes higher?
I'm a JSN guy. Like I think it's we're splitting hairs these guys, but you said it there when you said it. Like Metcalf just is not consistent enough. I mean, if you look at him and AJ Brown, they look alike. They're from the same team. They play alike. Where they either are like you're like, whoa, that is the greatest guy in the NFL, or dude, where are you? But JSN, once he started, he was a rookie, so he didn't come in. He came in like we should have thought he would with two good receivers. He had two really good receivers and just filled in with them. And then towards the end of the season, you're like, hey, there's what we're starting to see. This is why he's been one of the better receivers for Ohio State. Apparently before the second coming of receivers and Jerry Rice and Marvin Harrison Jr. But JSN was the guy last year. That's who everybody wanted. And we all foolishly thought the moon. And he started to show those signs. And I could see him taking that step this year that some of the other kids last year did not.
Yeah, I think he'll be that wide receiver one there. Metcalf is going to be a strong wide receiver too. Like he's always been a high end wide receiver too. And with Njigba coming in, and if he does prove to be that guy, he's only going to take coverage away from Metcalf, and then it just opens up more over the top stuff for this guy, which is what he does best.
It's easy to be a wide receiver too, and you have like 3 games for 200 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's 600 true. Yards. That's a 30. That's to get 1,000 yards. That's a wide receiver too. So that's how he does it.
Yeah, but you love those games though. You know he's going to be in there for you though. Yeah, that's all the questions this week. Any closing arguments?
No, I would say I'm kind of shocked. You didn't really talk about your favorite team in the NFL. Are you just thinking the 49ers come back to the top and they bring everybody back?
Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, I had Brandon Ayuk written down here. Of course, he's the biggest name out of all of them. That he's probably the one that may not come back. Of course, he wants big money. He was their number one wide receiver. So a question: if Brandon Ayuk, so this guy was super efficient. This guy 75 catches for 1,300 yards. We're talking 17 yards a catch. So if you actually extrapolate that out, this guy, if he were to get the catches and the targets, it would be crazy. Of course, those numbers would come down more with the more targets and the more catches that he does get. But this guy's super efficient, and I think if you put him on another team where he is the number one target, I think this guy could be pretty amazing.
Tampa Bay.
Maybe I could see that.
Ooh, imagine we'd both be happy. Baker to Ayuk.
I don't know how happy I would be if I'm
Baker.
having to rely on Baker Mayfield throw to my wide receiver that I like a whole lot. But yeah, I think he could definitely be that number one option. And with Godwin on the other side, that just helps out tremendously.
Hey, cool tidbit. His birthday is St. Patty's Day.
Hey, yeah, kudos to that guy. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be very lucky and get the bag this year, this season too.
Yeah, it'll be right after that too. Yeah. Where would you think? Okay, if you're Ayuk right now, you had to guess. I said Tampa. I don't think Tampa's where he goes. What team would you put him on, and then give us some wisdom?
I think maybe if you I like to see him with the Chargers and Justin Herbert with Harbaugh coming in, I think he can slide right in. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but he can slide right in as that absolute RB or wide receiver one. I think that. Plus, Herbert can support a wide receiver one because I mean, homeboy's done it for quite a while. So I think the Chargers would be a pretty nice fit. And my words of wisdom, I got the combine coming up, so that's gonna be rookie drafts. So it'll be fast approaching. Make sure you get to know these guys a little bit, so you're not just picking random guys. Well, which actually sometimes does work because you don't know them. But yeah, so you're trying to find some guys that you're actually interested in and you can kind of invest in a little bit. It doesn't take much to read the newspaper and see, hey, this guy did this guy did this.
What?
But yeah, get to know these rookies as they come in. It's pretty fun. As always, trust yourself and trust the process.